Howdy folks, today we are back with something that I love to see, which is upgradable. I've earned some shards for this Elder Dragon. As you can see, I have my 1-star, level 4, I played through a Garen run with him. The deck was a little weird, but I am happy to see 2 stars become available. I haven't read his star power yet, but Elder Dragon cares about allies with base cost 6+, and starting on 1 mana made that feel pretty bad. Pretty bad. 1 starting mana when you play a base 6 cost ally, 6+ cost, play a random dragon boon on it. Alright. The dragon boons were good skills. I don't know how far this is going to go towards making Elder Dragon play more smoothly. It's kind of getting to the 6 drops is I felt like getting there was the hard part and winning from there was the easy part. So we are going to restart him up, and we're just going to take our Elder Dragon into an adventure. I'm wearing, as the common relic, +2 rerolls, and I've just found that Elder Dragon really doesn't need any help. So putting any like keyword or combat relic on him feels completely irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. So we've gone with rerolls. You could go with Starchild's staff if you wanted to heal 5 after every battle. Okay. Let's take a quick look over our deck. We've got our Blue Sentinel who now has Challenger. Alright, that's good. Gives us an extra mana gem the round after it dies. We have one of these Targon Buffy cards. We have a Combat Trick. We have our now 3-cost Atrani Dragon Worshipper, which is really good. Again, gives us an extra mana gem to get us to our 6+ cost cards. The Dragon Strike from Demacia. Wounded White Flame to go with it. Cadragon the Ruined, who is a fine 6-drop dragon. Stalking Broodmother, who is a good 6-drop dragon, 7-drop dragon. And our Elder Dragon, who just does it all. Including giving us a passive power. When you play a unit with 6+ base cost, pick one of 2 dragon boons to play on it. Just in case you haven't actually seen them, there are 6 dragon boons. They are all worth somewhere between 1 and 2 mana, I would say. But you get to pick exactly the one that you want. So far, I have personally been finding that Deathless is a little bit more impactful than really the rest of them. But I'm sure that will ebb and flow as we go through. Alright. We have Irumi Shield, which is not really great in our deck. We don't have many spells. And I don't really want to draft anymore. I really just want to be drafting our base 6+ cost allies if I can. And Slow but Steady, same thing honestly. Enfeebling Strike. Enfeebling Strike is interesting. It does kind of work well with our plan to chump block early with some of our utility creatures and then play a big fool later on. I think we can do better. I don't know how, but I just have the feeling that I can do better than Enfeebling Strike. And we do have a full 6 rerolls because of our Elder Dragon's item. This is much worse. I like all of these less than Enfeebling Strike. I almost never play these two. I don't actually think I have ever picked up Sticky Fingers. Maybe once. Afterlife Forbidden is also not that good. It's funny actually, they buffed Haunted Tomb, but they buffed its cost. So it makes no difference to this power. Overprepared is, I think, the best of these powers. I actually really like this. It often just like that equipment shuffles around all of your creatures as they trade and puts you really ahead on board. But maybe that would be good here. Again, like Enfeebling Strike, I'm just thinking of slapping something on these cheap units to make them trade while I'm waiting for my big fellas. Yeah, okay, I've talked myself into it. I think I can take Overprepared and feel pretty good, especially because this is a Garen run This is designed for 1 star. It's a very, very, very fair adventure. Most games will simply be won by more effectively utilizing your power and health than your opponent does. I think we're going to go with this. We'll get a turn 1 Ruby-Eyed Conjurer. Not sure what it's doing yet, but then we'll get turn 3 Wounded White Flame into turn 4 Strafing Strike, which should set us up pretty well. We can even do that if my opponent plays 1 Stony Suppressor, which makes our spells cost 1 more. So, yeah, this feels quite good. You cannot trigger Fated in hand, so unfortunately this Ruby-Eyed Conjurer does not actually interact positively with Wounded White Flame specifically. Ooh. This is a new equipment. Pick an allied follower, transform my bearer into an exact copy of it while I'm equipped. God, that's really interesting. Okay, I'm just gonna need to think about this card whenever every single turn and try to figure out when it's good and why it's good. It is only pick an allied follower, which is interesting, but it is an exact copy. All right, we're going to lead off with blue. Blue is a nice challenger unit with this item, and honestly this game is probably just going to be my opponent dying to early pressure because I have 2 mana crystals and they have 0.
New recruit reporting in.
Hi Cythria. I think we're just going to maximize our tempo by playing this Dragon Worshipper. Getting a 5 mana turn 3, and
Retreat for your sake.
yeah, this makes sense.
So soon.
And yeah, get our Conjurer into White Flame. We do have a Stalking Broodmother, but we're a few turns away from that, unfortunately. It is a really good target for our Shady Spectacles, turning a Ruby-Eyed Conjurer into a Stalking Broodmother. That sounds pretty sick. And I think we should give her Overwhelm. Both because I think that's the most impactful out of our Overwhelm Spell Shield choices here, and also because if we use the Shady Spectacles to make the Conjurer a copy of Stalking Broodmother, because it's an exact copy, it will have that Overwhelm buff, which sounds pretty awesome. I don't know that we're going to get time to do any of that. I think my opponent is pretty dead. Did I miss lethal there with the sharp sight? Sharp sight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it was. Oh, and this is +1/+2 now. I'm still used to the original sharp sight, which is +2/+2, and I played quite a lot with. Why? Oh, right. Our blue died, so we are on 6. So we get to play our Broodmother, and we get to give her Hextech Prowess. Any attack with this will now be lethal. Oh, and we got a random one from, I already forgot, our Aspect of the Dragon. That's handy. I just kind of want to do this, honestly. I'm going to copy our Broodmother, equipping our Conjurer. That's so sick. That feels really good. That feels good. Alright. Well, as most often when you start playing a champ at 2 stars already, you just feel absurdly advantaged. This is an interesting pick, though. Our Ruined Dragon Guard is a pretty solid card. It's a Badger Bear, a 3 mana 3/4, and it has some Fury synergies for us, which is pretty good given we have 4 different dragons with Fury. I'm trying to figure out if it's better than just taking this Golden Sister, who is a lot of stats, is an elusive and a lifesteal, which are just absolutely the best keywords. We'll both get a dragon boon. Oh, they'll both get a dragon boon. Okay, that's definitely reason to take the sister. I don't even see like a Darius. Oh, alright. Well. Yeah. I just think this is doing exactly what we want to do. LeBlanc would be excellent here. LeBlanc would be really good. But I just think that having a champion who actually interweaves with our star powers sounds really useful. And also, good removal spell, good early play. Like, I'm just, yeah. Champ item chest or slot bot. We don't need any more rerolls, which is what slot bot sells for ever increasing amounts of gold. So we're going to fight the imposter, Plucky Poro. I'm Plucky Poro. You're a sham. A charlatan. Okay. Going to get rid of Cadric in the Ruined and Sharpsight just because those are later plays. I really think that a card like Sharpsight, okay, that one keeps getting me, is not a card that you want to play when you should be developing your board. I'm sure if I kept Sharpsight, there would be, say, an instance on turn 3 where I wanted to use it, or it would be good to use it. But I think in a lot of those cases, you're just sort of better off not blocking or not attacking and playing a unit so that you can actually sort of remain on board. The other question is whether we keep Death's Hand or not. It's my opponent's power when one of the foe's units survives damage granted +1/+0. This Death's Hand would be fine. I think I'm going to look for another, like an Otrani Dragon Worshipper or another Blue Sentinel or... Wow, I am calling them today. This hand is amazing now. This is incredible. And we even get this sort of combo of having a challenge unit and the Darkened Bloodletters. So I kind of clicked through it pretty fast there. These have a last breath that summons a 1/1 that cannot block, which is, you know, is what it is. But my opponent only has 15 health, which makes a 1/1 quite an impactful card. Alright. We could Strafing Strike. I just don't see any reason to do that. My opponent has no good attacks anyway. I'd rather just get on board. Alright, I think my opponent is going to die immediately. We are going to get to Golden Sister, choose a Dragon Boon due to Elder Dragon's origin, which we will choose the extra 3 damage. Heal all allies in your Nexus 2. Buff Saratrani Dragon Worshipper. And... Oh, when you play a base 6 cost ally. Okay. So we get the one from the origin on Golden Sister. We get the one from the power on Golden Sister. We don't get anything on Silver Sister. But that's fine. This is still lethal. This game is really easy when you just get to say cards you want to see and they are in your hand or in your draft pod. Alright. Ooh, is this new? Heart of the Huntress. Nope, not new. I just don't remember it. And summon grant other allies that have subtypes +1/+1 and impact. 7 6/6. How many subtypes do we have? No, 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 no. And then we have all our dragons. Yes, no, yes, 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 yes. The thing is, like, we have enough subtypes to make this worth it. It just, I don't feel impressed by this card and this item, and just if I want to cast a 6-drop for 1 less mana and get a dragon boon on it. I just want it to be something else. I would prefer it to be Darius, Catrigan, Golden Sister, or Stalking Broodmother. And at that point, I think I'm really just going to take the Prismatic Barrier. Alright. What do we have now? Okay. Okay. Elder Dragon is very difficult to cast and doesn't really need any help, so I'm pretty reluctant to put extra copies of Elder Dragon even in my deck. It's, in a way, Elder Dragon is best in games where you just don't even draw him. You get this free power without even having to actually have this 12 drop, 10 drop, 9 drop stuck in your hand. So I think we're picking Darius. And I'm just trying to figure out what we do with Darius. He has Overwhelm, so I don't really feel like Brash is that impactful because low health units blocking him will already be pretty irrelevant. I don't think we have much for Augment, so we could take the Philosopher's Stone, which would be fine. I'm going to reroll and just see if I can get some stats on this Darius. I would love like even a pickaxe. Yeah, perfect. Immortal, 1-0 and Deathless. I've been pretty impressed with this Deathless item so far. I haven't had a ton of experience with it, but so far it has been very good. Foe summons a Fleet Feather Tracker. You got it. So my opponent will have a 1-mana 2/1 Challenger, and I think that tempo advantage of them starting the game on board will be extremely easy to beat. Should we mulligan this Ruby-Eyed Contra? I think we want to find a 6-drop so that we can go turn 2 a Tranny Dragon Worshipper and then turn 3 play a 6-drop. Which makes me think maybe actually I get rid of both of... No, we'll get a 6-drop. We'll get a Darius, or we'll get a Golden Sister, or a Catrigan. I think we can do that. Keep the Ruby-Eyed Contra and use it to give our 6-drop probably Overwhelm. Alright, just like we drew it up. We got Malefic Spear, which is quite a good equipment. +2/+1, fearsome. If an ally died this round, it's now free in my deck. It's free. We are going to do pretty much exactly what we said and give Overwhelm to Catrigan. I am happy to trade this Atrani Dragon Worshipper for the Fleet Feather Tracker, so I am going to make this attack. Actually this is interesting. We will not have a target for Catrigan the Ruined. We will not be able to grant an allied challenger if we get the double trade here, which I think is extremely likely. So maybe... yeah, okay. We're going to do this. If my opponent has any opening play, which surely they must have a 2-drop of some kind, or a 1-drop. Oh, actually we can just equip the Malefic Spear and be safe anyway. I completely forgot about the spear. This is going really well, by the way.
Fierce and fashionable, no?
And now I'm trying to figure out... okay, yeah, we can do one better. We can play Darius and then give Darius Challenger and 1/1. And and Impact. He's a thick boy. Oh, and he has Challenger. Alright. God, Dragon Boons are pretty sick.
Retreat for your sake.
Alright. My opponent is not dead, but they're not literally dead, but they are functionally dead. I suppose we should just heal at this point. Yeah. Oh, and we got Deathless as well. God. When the deck comes together, it feels very powerful. I love how deep the Darius lore is. For example, did you know that he hits people with an axe?
Our borders grow.
Darius, you don't know what a border is. You have no idea of geopolitics. You have an IQ of 5 and 2 axes. Alright, what have we got here? This... I'm just wondering what... Oh, okay. Path, if you don't know, has what I think Hearthstone has called buckets. That is, when you pick a Darius, Darius has a bunch of interrelated cards that become more likely to see in shops and as card rewards. And this can often be pretty relevant, I think, when you're choosing a champion. Because, you know, there are times where I have thought, like, oh, you know, this Nautilus has a really good item on it. I could just take the Nautilus. But you do have to acknowledge that a bunch of your reward picks will then be swapped for deep cards, which can be really good, can be really bad, but it's something to be aware of. I often find that thinking about that is a tiebreaker when choosing between two champs that are very similar in quality. We have Eclipse Dragon with free attack, which is good for us. Actually, this Daybreak trigger is pretty relevant, and we can get this down to 6. We can get our Dragon Double Strike, sort of double Trifarian Smite thing, which is just, I don't love. I think I just feel like if I have a dragon on board to kill the 2 weakest enemies, I'm just doing really, really, really well. I think the only pick here is the Eclipse Dragon, unless I'm missing something, because this strength in numbers is... It's cute to think of like summoning 2 Legion Marauders and then giving both of them an epic item and then attacking with both, and now they're 8/7s or whatever. I'm just gonna take the dragon. I'm not here to mess around. War Chefs. Alright, let me look that one up. Alright, War Chefs. I'm mostly a healer with nothing too exciting, so I'm gonna hit up the shop and see... alright. Right away, first check, I don't see any cards in my deck. I don't see any common token cards except for a Blade's Edge, so I'm keeping that in mind. Our power... Oh. Well, yes, we're gonna do that. We're gonna buy Blade's Edge, or Bouncing Blades, and then we're going to purchase exactly 1 copy of Blade's Edge to keep the item on it. We could purchase more. I don't think I'm going to have a free Blade's Edge in hand every single turn and be like, damn, I wish I had an additional Blade's Edge. That seems unlikely to me. Dragon Allegiant. This is a new card just from the recent expansion pack, and I haven't played with it yet. It looks powerful. I think this is actually the exact same text as Poro Herder, which is pretty funny. It would be fine in our deck. I don't think it's notably better than any of our... I don't think it's better than our average card, which is really the relevant question to be asking. We're also at full health. We're going to this healer. We're going to make a cut. You should really always cut. I know corner cases. I'm going to say the corner cases are less than 1%. I'm going to say that 99% of the time you should cut. And here we've ended up with like quite a few combat tricks, and we have the bouncing blades now. I don't really think we need all of these, and I'm basically choosing whether I want to cut the sharp sight or whether I want to cut the strafing strike. And I think I'm going to cut the sharp sight, because most elusives are small, and that means that they will already be dying to Blade's Edge for the most part. That logic makes sense to me. We could also cut one of these big units, whatever the worst one is. Maybe Dragon, maybe Eclipse Dragon. But no, I'm feeling fine. We do have like a lot of top end, but like I mentioned, sharp sight isn't really an early play anyway, so yes, we are cutting a cheap card, but we are not cutting an early card. Our density of early cards is in fact slightly increasing. Okay, we're gonna get the god, Ashe. Foe has the attack token, frostbite the player's weakest unit. Alright. We are going to do it like this. Keep these two because Death's Hand works really well with our bouncing blades, just combines a lot of damage. We're going to play a turn for Darius and just start swinging. Just start swinging. Ashe is a 5/3, so we know if we have a Death's Hand in hand, we will be able to Death's Hand plus Blade's Edge whenever they play her. I'm going to, as much as possible, play into... Gosh, what's it called? Elixir of Iron. Oh, we should play this equipment. Yeah. I would love for my opponent to spend an Elixir of Iron before they play Ashe. So, yeah. Now I think we're just going to apply pressure with our turn 4 Darius plan sort of underway. Yep, no worries. Still going to attack because I will get in attacking Dragonling. And might as well blades it to their face. If they have an Omen Hawk after this, like, you got me. Right, this is typically an Avarosen Trapper turn. Is that the 3/3 that makes a Yeti? But this is quite a lot better. Giant Spelled and Omen Hawk. That's a big fella. Yep.
Gotcha.
He did get me. That said, my opponent doesn't really have a good attack here. Yeah. I think I will just... I should Blade's Edge face because we're going to open attack with the challenging Blue Sentinel to deal, which probably means I should have played the other Blue Sentinel. Actually, I'm playing a little bit too conservatively here, I think. But this should be lethal, and if it's not, my opponent probably won't be able to play their Ashe. That was a pretty, I think a pretty prototypical example of how a lot of Ashe games go, where you just need to just apply a lot of pressure to her. But it feels a bit goofy saying that because we started with an extra mana than she did, so kind of duh. Alright, now what are we doing? Entrancing Allure is a really good item. This is a really good item. But it does lose impact when it is on something that is very much a finisher. Drawing a card when your opponent dies is not that exciting. Could do Barrier. Could do Augment with our Bouncing Blades. I just don't like picking any of these. Maybe I'm being too reserved, but I'm gonna spend a reroll here. Alright, well, immediately punished. We're just going to take the Entrancing Lure. I think it's better than... yeah, Brash and Fearsome have the exact same problem I said before, which is that Darius already has Overwhelm. And I'm also not really interested in putting any of this on Elder Dragon. Like, we haven't cast an Elder Dragon this adventure, and I really kind of don't expect to. Maybe we will one game. Alright. This is interesting. Fast Heal is the best power. And it's now just a question of whether Enfeebling Strike is good enough combo with our Bouncing Blades. And I think the answer is yes. Yeah, I think the answer is yes. That just gives us so much board control, being able to shrink an attacker at will or a blocker at will. Very effective. We really want this Smooth Soloist. This is an event that sells powers, and it's great. I think it generally sells a common, a rare, and an epic power at 200, 300, and 400 respectively, and I think we had, I don't know, 600 gold, something like that. Alright. I am sending this all away, and the reason I'm sending Darius away this time is because we don't have even sort of an idea of an early play. Our first play is going to be this turn 2 Wounded White Flame, which is not that great. It's a 3 mana 2/3. It doesn't, I mean, it is a good card, but it is not really great at re-establishing the board the way that our 2 mana 2/3 is. And now our 2 mana 2/3 with Barnacles. Oh, I should have played Surged Face. I was too busy thinking about my next turn, which is going to be a Trani Dragon Worshipper, attack, challenge this Unscarred Reaver.
The Elk of Bones
Yep.
summons me.
Do this, block here, take 1, and then post-combat we're going to Blade's Edge the Unscarred Reaver. We do it this way because it doesn't assign any damage to our Blue Sentinel. It's very handy. I'm going to try to kill this Bone Scryer on the next hit. That's kind of a priority for us. We have so much life, we have 30 life, but I just really think that we can play the entire game and not take another hit from this Bone Scryer, and we will be pretty good, pretty fine. Yep, no worries there. No worries there. We're going to play a Catrigan the Ruined with our Dragon Boons and just get on board a lot. Yes, I will have a Deathless Catrigan. I'm just trying to think about whether I want to Blade's Edge this Marksman, which is sort of the board play, or Blade's Edge my opponent's face. And I think so we have Fearsome here. 7 down to 13. I feel like because of our relative lack of evasion, like we don't have any big overwhelmers right now, we are going to win the game by a lot. And that makes me want to play to the board, because I think, we might end up overkilling by 10 damage, and that just makes me so much less likely to care about exactly one Blade's Edge. Alright, we've got a Strafing Strike. What are we doing? What are we doing? Well, our Strafing Strike can be effective, so I think we're starting off. Part of the reason I really like this Bouncing Blade's power is it means that you always have a 1 mana way to pass priority without giving your opponent the opportunity to end the round. And that's a very effective ability. Alright. Could do something like this, which doesn't really play around an Elixir of Iron, but we'll get our Barnacles back in our hand, which is useful. We can just slap that on someone else. We'll get an extra mana from the Dead Blue Sentinel's Crest of Insight, and we're getting close to me, embarrassingly, have to actually play an Elder Dragon. Yeah, this feels... There are lots of different lines here. I think they're all fairly similar, but this one feels alright to me. Note that we can refill 2 mana here, but we don't actually have 6 mana gems, so there's no way for us to play this Eclipse Dragon. I'm just going to stick our Barnacles on our... Gosh, what is it? I think it's just the Challenger. That feels best to me. Do we want to bank our mana or save our mana? I'm trying to think about what our opponent could have, and I think the most likely option is just a Scar Mother of Rinna, who is the sort of payoff for these Freljord damage decks. And I forget her exact toughness. I think she might be a 3/8. But I think that would be alright, because if we played this Eclipse Dragon, we would be very likely to get a Dragon Boon that gave it 1 extra power. So I think I'm just going to hold back my Wounded White Flame and waste the mana, because it really doesn't seem important.
Leave your bags in the door.
Alright, just just running out our Eclipse Dragon, getting 3 cost off our Elder Dragon, which is pretty fun. There's our Hextech Prowess, which I have fairly little reason to take because my opponent is, I now realize, I think an extra mana off Skarmoth of Runner. So I guess I'll just take Oceanic Will, and I'll probably get up to a 7/8/8 anyway. Oh, we don't, but we do gain Challenger, so now we do. Alright.
The White Elk's bones speak.
Apparently the White Elk's bones speak. I don't know why I went for a face that time, but not the time before. It feels different. But I cannot explain why. Alright. Elder Dragon.
Do not be hasty. It will make its will known.
It's fun. I really like that animation. It's really fun. Alright, so when you play a blank Elder Dragon from hand with no other buffs, you end up with a 13/13 with Impact 2, Fearsome Challenger, Tough, and Deathless. It's a very powerful card. Anyone who tells you that this is not a very powerful card is I don't know what they're doing. they're deeply confused about something. Make some arbitrary challenges. We could just do a bunch of Strafing Strikes and Death Hands and Blade's Edges and try to get lethal this turn. Alright, yeah, we should do that. So, going to... Oh, interesting. I probably should have put the Barnacles on the Cadragon last turn, just because I had 2 Strafing Strikes in hand. And, I guess I can still Strafing Strike with the Otrani Dragon Worshipper, it just... She doesn't get the heals. Probably still going to be worth it. Yeah, so we Strafing Strike here. Yep. That gets us a coin. It's kind of a bummer that my opponent is not playing anything that dies to 3 damage. We coin. Which of our dragons has actual evasion? This says Fearsome. So if we Strafing Strike this, we get the extra Fury, and my opponent can't block. Alright. So we get Fearsome, and that should be it. We'll do some challenging for fun. Got him.
To Targon.
I guess Elder Dragon doesn't have any voice lines when you win the game with him in play, which is... I don't know what I was expecting, but maybe like a dragon-y shriek. Alright. As I'm always saying, item stacking is king, so that I'm very heavily biased towards this blue sentinel. Not to mention the fact that Challenger and Quick Attack is a really good combo. But let's read some other cards. Lattice the Gallant, this is a new one. Fury, your dragon boons target all dragon allies. That's a cool card. When I'm summoned, capture the strongest enemy. This would be great to have in our deck. This would be really cool, really fun. We would get a ton of power after it the first turn that we played it, just because it would get a double dragon boon, and it would target all our allies. That said, we're not really short of 6 and 7 drops that win the game. I mean, this is just like not meaningfully different in terms of play patterns to Eclipse Dragon in this deck. Also have a Deathless Iron Legionary. Play, deal 3 to an ally to deal 3 to an enemy. Oh, it's the Noxian Fervor, or whatever the hell it is. There's a, there's a spell version of this. Seeing it as a 3 mana 5/1 is pretty sick. Oh, this can't go face. All right, that makes sense. I was like, how is this balanced? It can't go face. That's the answer. All right, we're going to take our blue sentinels. I have been saying pretty persistently that blue sentinel is what we're after in our opener. I love. Evolution is one of the best powers in the game, one of the best epics, and the earlier you can get it, the better. Unfortunately, we didn't get it very early. It's still going to do so much in our deck, and makes me feel really good as well about picking up this blue sentinel challenger quick attack, which is now 2 mana, 4/5. That's going to make our lives really good. We even have enough gold left over to also buy the rare power from this shop. Oh, this is a new one. When an ally dies, deal 1 to the enemy nexus. Oh, that's very medium. In this deck, there are some decks like maybe Misfortune or Misfortune where that would be an actual power, but we're going to reroll it. Yes. Welcome gifts, evolution, everything is coming up our way. What do we got? We have a epic shop over there. I really should have left here and checked because it's possible I would have just saved my money for the epic shop. But I think as is, we're just going to not use our rerolls here. Try to use them to get a good featured card in this epic shop. That's where we're at. What are we looking at here? So it's occurred to me way too late in the recording, but I haven't actually slowed down and just goddamn read the Elder Dragon out. Brand new card. He's a 12 mana 10/10 with Fury. Fury is almost always a keyword that appears on dragons, so it makes sense for the dragon champion to have it. He has an origin. He's a Rune Terran champion. He doesn't have a region. Instead, he has an origin. You may put any followers that cost 6 or more into your deck during deck building. So that's his region, basically, 6+ cost followers. And the payoff for that is when you play a unit with 6+ base cost, pick one of 2 dragon boons to play on it. As mentioned before, we have 6 dragon boons that grant Deathless, 1/1 in impact twice, Challenger, 1/1 in tough, 1/1 in fearsome, and heal allies and your nexus too. Great. So that's what the origin's doing. Elder Dragon costs 1 less for each dragon boon you've played this game. So for us, every time that we play a unit with 6+ base cost, we get 1 dragon boon from Aspect of the Dragon, his origin, and we also get 1 boon from Aspect of the Dragon, his star power, which is when you play a base 6 or more cost ally, play a random dragon boon on it. Alright, good. When you play him, you play every dragon boon on him, which is the, I read that out earlier, you end up with a 13/13, absolutely everything. When he levels up, your allies have attacked with 75 or more total power, which is not really that hard in this deck, honestly. If you had Elder Dragon in play for a turn or 2, you would just definitely level him up, but it's hard to have Elder Dragon in play for a turn or 2 and not just kill your opponent. But if you do level him up, you get a 30/30 with all of those same buffs. It cannot be stopped. I believe cannot be stopped means he cannot be killed, damaged, blocked, or negatively modified. He can't have negative keywords, he can't have minus power or minus health. So, that's where we're at. A big fella. We discount him in 2s by playing large base cost units. And base cost means the cost before modifications. So if I have Darius and I make him a Poro with the Poro fluffed item that says he's 1 cost 1/1, when I play Darius will get 2 dragon boons, and that will make Elder Dragon cost 10. So cost reduction is really great in this deck, which is very nice. Hard casting your 6+ drops is not always that easy. So I'm going to ship away the Elder Dragon. Ship away one of these. Which of these is less impactful? What's my opponent doing? Round end, the foe's units heal 1. think that means I want to sort of do big trades. I don't want to try to chip away at their health. So I'm going to put away this ruby-eyed conjurer, which is more likely to chump. More likely to jump than the Legion Grenadier, that is. And now I'm just trying to figure out if I want to keep this Darius to have a guaranteed 6+ cost ally on turn 5, or if I can ship it away. And I think I ship it away. I think my density of allies that, what do we call them? I'm just going to call them big. My density of big units is pretty good. Yeah, we're being fine. It always sounds like the kindly tavern keeper is kind of flirting with you. Maybe that's just me. We're gonna play our blue sentinel and have a wow. Okay, my opponent is so dead. 9 ways from Sunday. It feels it almost feels a little bit silly commentating this game because my opponent is so dead. We also got a good hit from our over-prepared power. A 2-mana Draconic Bands will take you a long way in this game. Gosh, what's our play now? What's my opponent going to play? 2 mana. Maybe like a Lonesome Sentry or whatever, a Ceaseless Sentry. I forget what his name is. The 2 mana 2/1. I would want to Blaze Edge that, which makes me want to think I should just put max stats on board, which would be just either playing this Draconic Bands on blue or playing this Legion Grenadier. I think I'll play the Legion Grenadier. Bone Scryer. Okay, that's the exact opposite of Lonesome Sentry. But that's fine. We get to challenge for it, kill it. If my opponent has Elixir of Iron, we don't get to kill it, and we take 1 damage, but it doesn't do anything to my blue sentry, so I think that's fine. And with them having nothing else, we just Blaze Edge face. It's hard to overemphasize just how absurdly ahead we are at this point. Yeah, we're doing well. Again, we kind of have this question about what to do with our board, and I think we're not going to play this Striking Strife or this Prismatic Barrier this turn. We have good blocks. We have no real need to remove this Kindly Tavern Keeper because we're already outpacing it in combat. So I am going to Ruby-Eyed Conjurer, give Overwhelm to the Golden Sister, and then play Draconic Bands on... What's my most vulnerable? This has quick attack. This can attack into this. Okay, yep. Play Draconic Bands here. Blade's Edge face. God. This is going to be good. Boom. What are we granting it? We granted it Overwhelm, so I think we're going to combine that with Challenger to try to put a bunch of damage through my opponent's face. And the other Dragon Boon we randomly rolled was the tough one.
There it is.
Zoop. You can do 1 damage, I can do 1 damage.
Can't afford to miss.
Seems like he could not afford to miss. And he missed. Sorry, Kindly Tavern Keeper. I never really love killing him. Poor guy. Although he does gaslight the babbling Bjerg. I don't know if you've seen them in play together, but the Bjerg talks about yetis and talks about all kinds of creatures that really exist, watchers, and the Tavern Keeper is like, haha, my idiot friend here. Anyway, I always talk about item stacking. This might finally be the exception. I don't think I want more Elder Dragons in my deck, because I mean, he doesn't actually even have an item on him to begin with. This doesn't interact at all with number of copies. But but we would get 3 spell shield, or sorry, 4 spell shield items instead of, if we choose this Ruined Dragon Guard, we will only get 2 Targon's Braces. Or we could choose the Beguiling Cobra, which is a relatively powerful card. All of these kind of suck. I'm just going to take a card that is like pretty good on rate. The Ruined Dragon Guard is an early play with lots of stats. Like, sure, whatever, fine. We don't have we won't use our rerolls here. We don't have any money for this. So I'm just going to be taking this. The featured card is probably what we're most likely to buy because it's severely discounted, but not this one. Iron Legionary. All these cards would be, you know, fine, good. Lord Malat seems good. No, rerolling. I don't think that any of these cards are going to be impactful when I put 1 copy of them in my deck. Like, I don't think I'm going to win the game off my 1 free Cytheria of Cloudfield. It feels unimpactful. Fine, but unexciting. Exciting. This is exciting. This is, oh, hell yeah. Okay, I've got to look at everything else, but Porofluft is the best item possible in this deck. I'm pretty convinced. Porofluft on a 6+ cost unit will actually make it cost 0, I believe. So we will have I hope we draw that card, because we'll get to confirm that theory. I'm going to cut Catrigan now as our weakest big dude. I really hope we draw that and we get to see exactly how the Porofluft works. Get out of here, Blade's Edge. We have a million of you. Blue is my best friend. Hi, Blue. Chip says hi, Blue. It's really funny how we have this like stupid, you know, like dragon silly ramp deck, and in classic me fashion, I have ended up with an item stacked 2-drop, 4/5 challenger quick attack. Like, yep, that's me. That's what I do. Oh look, it has augment now, so we're getting in for 7. This is gonna be over before we draw that Porofluft, isn't it? I kind of it sounds a bit boring to just stall until we hit the Porofluft, but I kind of want to do it. What even puts most stats on boards? This is a 2-mana 4/5. This is going to be a 3-mana 4/5 with Fury and Fated. This, oh god, ally with Fury, and we're just playing the Blue Sentinel. These are all so similar, and honestly, we're just going to stall and try to figure out our dragon. I might pause the video if I get to the stalling bit, so there isn't an insanely long lump of me taking arbitrary game actions. But we'll play out the early game first. We'll see how we go. Do we have evasion on any of these? No, right? This has regen, this has augment. I would really prefer to put the Bone Club on a unit with some sort of evasion. So I think I'm just going to play it pretty slow here and play the Wounded White Flame. Hopefully this gets something like Fearsome, and then I'll slap the Bone Club on it next turn. That's just as good. Lifesteal is just as good. Not evasion, but I suspect it will be very difficult for my opponent to beat the 11, 12 Fury Lifestealer. That seems like a difficult thing for my opponent's good old great club Garen to make his way through. You got it, opponent. Is this bullying? Am I bullying the poor robot? Challenge me, come on. Got him. Who wrote that piano track, The Entertainer? That's what's playing in my head right now, I have to say. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It really does not matter. Let's play a Deathless Darius, because Deathless Darius demands dread.
I have my orders.
He's got tough, mountainous vigor, and infernal might. Infernal might. Infernal might. I'm just thinking...
The armor for such a pretty boy.
I've never heard that voice line before. I love that so much. I hope that came through in the video, but Darius said, such pretty armor for such a pretty boy, which is very funny and also like a little bit... Darius, what did you mean when you said that? So, when Darius got the Dragon Boon Infernal Might, if I were to use, you know, Infernal...
You're shorter than I thought.
I'm loving these. I don't think I've ever seen a Garen and a Darius in play against each other in my whole time playing Legends of Runeterra. If I used the word Infernal, I would be talking about hell, you know, Christian hell. And I suppose it could also refer...
Crown Guard. I'm Cythria.
Hi, Cythria. I suppose it could also refer to, you know, just fire generically, as in the Inferno. But does that mean that Infernal Might is coming from demons or just coming from fire? These are the questions we don't have any answers to. We could be clearing up their board. It doesn't make any difference. It simply does not make any difference. Oh, hey, our Elder Dragon is
All right, let's get
less
to work.
discounted than I expected. Alright, I think I'm going to put a pause on the video here, and I'll be back when I draw that Poro Fluffed card, and we can see how it works. Okay, I literally sat there for 10 minutes, just playing cards, looking for my Poro Fluffed Idiot, and I accidentally played a Eclipse Dragon, which rolled only buff dragon boons and randomly rolled elusive off the welcome gifts. So you know what, I can take a hint. The game does not want me to did not support me in my endeavors. But yeah, it was interesting. That was of course, like, we were pretty overpowered in that run in a couple ways, but I think it's interesting now that I can sort of start to see how this whole thing is supposed to come together. I think there will be another really substantial buff at 3-star, because this Dragon Sire changes to cost 2 less, and at that point I think you start getting in with cost reduction. You know, if you have a 6-drop with an ancient coin on it and rank 2 Dragon Sire, you're casting that turn 2, and that is much more interesting to me and is not that unusual. Getting an ancient coin on the 6-drop is, I mean, yeah, that just happens normally. So pretty excited to see how it all comes together, and I think I'll be recording some more stuff soon. I think that the Thresh redesign is really interesting. I played a couple runs with him. Really fun, really fun, and very excited to sort of talk about him on camera. I think that's going to be great. Thanks for hanging out, everyone.